Hi Vinay, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good, Shefali. How are you?
I'm good, yeah. I can't believe it. Last night I had this crazy dream. All this while I was thinking about the kind of conversation I'm going to have with you. And I swear. And
Yeah.
the best is when I got up in the morning, I thought to myself, calm down. And I was like, let's talk about dreams that we actually see when our eyes are wide open. Don't you think?
Yeah, that's very true. As a matter of fact, when you say that, it reminds me one quote from Mr. Kalam, which is, I think, beautifully said, which says that, dreams is not what you see with your closed eyes, but dream is something that actually doesn't even let you sleep. And I fully agree. I mean, it's a very common thing that everybody has dreams and everybody sees dreams, but then what it translates to is, I think, what really matters.
That's true. I think I completely agree with you. We all have so many dreams, and
Yeah.
especially during pandemic, I'm sure we had so many dreams, so many things to do list, and we all had to scrap it down. That was
That,
sad.
that is very true. That is very true. I think pandemic, especially the past 15, 16 months, has really been a learning experience for everyone. Uh, it's hard. It's been tough, and I think it's been tough for everyone. And you know, of course, it's been very bad for a lot of people. But at the same time, I think it has been an eye opener for a lot of people also. और अगर इसमें भी अब कुछ नहीं सीखे तो I don't think so that if anybody can learn than any other way.
Everybody knows we learn from success and from failure, and in fact, if you ask me, you learn much more from failure
I
because
think you learn from failure only.
yeah, because the thing is that you actually learn newer ways to do things. You
I
come
think
up with newer concepts, and obviously when you're up there is a certain way that you need to handle that.
you
These
know
days, when I see a lot of youngsters, it gets into their head pretty soon.
See, I'm a very big basketball fan.
Okay.
So I used to play basketball even when I was in school and college, and then it still kind of lingered on. That's my favorite sport, and I think everyone knows Michael Jordan. He's the biggest name in basketball.
God.
And I was looking at his, I was rather watching his biography, and one of the things that he said, keeping in mind success, I think is beautifully said. And he said that that he has missed almost about 10,000 plus shots while playing in his career, lost almost about 300 games in his career, and he said that he has failed over and over and over and over again, and that is why he says that he succeeded. So basically, he failed so many times that ultimately, he succeeded. So it's not that you success comes with no tag to it, or success has no price. Of course, you pay a price. You fail hundreds of times. I mean, even if I look back on my career, it's not that I had a business family or I moved to US. Uh, when I moved to US in 1990, at that time, in fact, the very next month we had the Iraq war, so the economy went, down the drain. So things were tough, and then especially moving from one country to a newer country, you have to kind of start all over again. You struggle. So I've seen a lot of this in life also. It's not that uh, where I am today has been a very easy ride, very smooth ride. We all go through these things. I think the only thing is that when you fall down, either you choose to just stay down, or you come back and you say, okay, fine, what was the reason? Why did I fall down? And you learn from it, and then you move on. And I think that is where the difference is. Uh, it's very easy, the way I see, to start something.
Right.
You can start something. Although again, I'll just come back to that later. But I think what happens is that when we start something, and after that, to get that thing going is where the actual courage comes. Because the moment you get a roadblock or a setback, then
Correct.
it's like, oh, why did I do this? And then you start questioning yourself. The moment you start questioning yourself, you're done. So I think that confidence is very important.
Yeah, I think so too. And the problem is like when we hear of somebody very successful, we are always focusing on the success story. We never know the kind of reality that the person has gone through. We do not know their struggle. We don't know how they have reached there. The only focus normally people have is, oh my God, look at that guy, he's so big.
I think one other thing also is that we tend to keep our failures a secret.
But I
Uh,
think we should not. I think we should share them,
I
so that
think we
people learn
fear,
from that.
somewhere we fear that, it'll cost us our love or acceptance. Often, people become very defensive, pragmatic. They don't want to really share their experience, with others. It's very easy for people to share their success because that kind of boosts their ego or whatever you call it. But when somebody says that, yes, I failed, 10 times or 100 times, or I lost this or lost that, then it kind of leaves a different taste in everybody's mouths. I think that's how people feel. Whereas I feel that uh, people would learn more from somebody's failure if we
Absolutely.
share our experiences. Then somebody else would actually learn from it. Now I know that I've gone through a lot through my professional experience, and if I were to share this with the younger generation today who is trying to be an entrepreneur, maybe I can guide them, and I would rather love to guide these guys, the youngsters, of not making those mistakes that maybe I did, because that's how it should be. Even if nothing, at least they learn something from the experience. But if we keep everything to ourselves, and if we just keep boasting on the success and all the, the whims and the fancies, it's not really going to teach you anything. I mean, what is it going to teach you? The experiences are where, the actual crux of the meaning of it lies. And I think that is what is more important.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I also said the same thing some time back that I think it's very important to share the failure stories, because every story teaches you something new. And when anyone hears our story, I think the whole idea is like my story can be a manual for somebody else.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. And I think also another thing that comes to my mind, when I is like दूसरे आदमी को भी ये लगेगा कि ओ अगर ये 10 बार फेल हुआ और उसके बाद सक्सेस मिली तो अगर मैं भी अगर 5 बार हो गया तो व्हाट्स द बिग डील.
Say, if you ask any super succeeder, they'll agree on one thing, that it is the individuals who dare to fail ultimately will succeed. I think at any given point of time, there are two voices that we always hear in our head. One is that I can, and one is I cannot.
Right.
So which one you water the most is going to help you, or going to take you a long way. It's like, I think people are more concerned about what's happening in somebody else's life than they get influenced by their neighbors, their friends, or whosoever that is, and it's like, so I think that's what it is. And today the problem that I see, uh, and it's not only just in India but everywhere, is that the youth is in a big rush to succeed. There is no elevator to success. You have to struggle, you have to go step by step, and only then you'll get to that point. So they are in such a big rush that they are actually losing the direction. And I think direction is more important than the speed itself. And if we realize that it's going to take time, then it'll be fine. So go through the hoops, learn what requires you to get to that point. Without that struggle, you're not going to get there.
Yeah, that's perfect. There is one thing that comes to my mind is like when people are after a thing, like they want to achieve something and it becomes like a rat race for them without realizing whether it's actual their calling or not. As you very rightly said sometime back, yeah, we have to see what our neighbors are doing, or probably he's got 2 cars, I want three. There is no end to this. I think we have to be a bit more contented than we ever were. I think this pandemic has also taught us that we should have more gratitude towards what we already have instead of just focusing on more and more and more. There is no end to this. And you are staying away from India, you are in Washington. Obviously there is a fantastic connect that you have back home, and when you, I mean, is there any dream that you nurtured when it comes to India?
A lot of stuff. In fact, I've been in education for a very long time, and I think that is one thing that when it comes to what I and how I want to kind of the dream, you can say, per se, for India and now the home country, of course, which always will be a home country. Although I've been in Washington for 30 years, is the if something can be done for the youth in the country, and that's one of the reasons why we started IBSW there, which is an educational institute, to see if we can make a little change in the lives of not only just the people who can afford the Western education, but also for people who actually cannot afford, because that's a bigger number there. And again, as I said, to share the experience, to share what we have learned, and if we can make that little dent or little difference in the lives of the youngsters there, then I think that's the biggest dream and biggest accomplishment that anybody can look for.
That's so true. That's so true. Any food that you really miss from India?
That's something that you always miss. I think. See, there are two things that you always miss, even after having lived in Washington for 30 years, and one is food, especially the street food.
I know. Which is your favorite one? I love golgappas.
Yeah, I mean,
And
street food is
tikki.
something that you miss all the
What
time.
about you?
So whether it's chaat papri or golgappas and all those things, or or every street food for that matter, that's something that you miss, and also you miss the warmth and everything, the affection of your friends and everybody else. Because obviously, see, when I moved here at that time, there was no social media, they were not even the cell phones available, so you kind of disconnected with friends and family there. That the first 10 years or so, I think, were kind of tough, because obviously there was no connect there. So now, thanks to the social media and WhatsApp and everything else, you feel connected back home. The second thing is also, even here, when I moved here, at that time, the population of Indians was not what it is now. So one good thing that has happened, because there are a lot of Indian population here now. So that also means that things are available. You have tons and tons of Indian restaurants, good food, everything is there. The only thing that you still miss is that street food and all that, the vibe and the vibrance and everything that you have there. But the good thing, again, is that because of the business that I have, I travel to India almost every 2-3 months. I'm back in India, so it's like home, away from home kind of thing now. So you don't miss it that much now. Every 3 months you're back home.
Which is your favorite place to holiday in?
I think my favorite destination is Paris. I love the vibes there and the energy there. So Paris is definitely the best place.
One of the nice places that you like in India?
In India, actually, a lot of places. I mean, I've been to Kashmir, which is beautiful. There is no doubt about that. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Then down south, in fact, last year or maybe 2 years back, in fact, because last year we all need to cut off. That doesn't count. So 2 years back, I was in Kerala, and I think Kerala is beautiful again. The south has so much greenery that
It does. Beautiful. It's really nice.
Yeah, backwaters is beautiful. So south is incredible.
That's amazing. Any new dream that's up your sleeve?
New dreams. Actually, it keeps changing, and I think this is something, again, it cannot be consistent. So as things change, as surroundings change, I think our dreams also change. So right now, the biggest dream that we have is to see what we can do in the education sector in India. But who knows? Maybe 6 months from now or 1 year from now, something else may come up. So it's good that one shouldn't be stagnant. I think that's what really matters.
That's true. It does matter. Let's not be stagnant. Let's keep moving, keep thinking, newer things, newer ideas, keep going. Because I think if you keep going, I think your energy also plays up. Sometime back we were discussing about positive and negative. When you think a lot positive, everything around you becomes positive. And when you think of negative things, obviously everything becomes negative. So it's very important to keep going, keep yourself busy and buzzing. But at the same time, you also need to make sure you take those moments when you're by yourself and you actually live the life that you really want to live, and do not live anybody else's dream and call it your life.
Yeah, that's very true, because as I said, that everyone is unique, and don't falter. I mean, you don't have to worry too much about failures. It's not permanent. It's just a process. So learn from it and move on. The other day when I was talking to you, in fact, I was really impressed by the venture that you have started. Which is I think a great way of doing things, and I wish more and more people would actually get into that. Would love to know a little bit more about that, as a matter of fact, because I know that we couldn't really get into the details, but I think it would be nice to if you can share that.
Sure, thanks, Vinay. Yeah, I started this little project called Soul Stories Nourishing Lives. And here, village women make, things like pickles and papad and diaries. They make a lot of things like laddus, biotin powder. We're also
Nice.
getting to make some old grandma's recipes. So it's fun. And the most important idea was that, we are still living in a very comfortable zone. But last year, it was difficult for people who were, earning by doing daily errands. And I thought, maybe this is a good idea. And that's when I started. And I can tell you, and I feel very happy because I'm able to stick to my motto of my life, which is creating smiles for people around me. And when I'm closer, that's very close to my heart, and when I do anything close to that little goal that I have, I obviously feel very happy. And I think more people should order with me, is always I say. I always tell
That's
them, guys, please order, so that,
yeah.
because at the end of the day, I want, like them to make money and their houses to run properly, function properly. Their kids can go to nicer schools. So that's the dream I nurture, and I've been taking baby steps towards it. Inshallah, one day I'm going to have a store called Soul Story Nourishing Life. That's my dream. I'm
Well,
glad
that's
you
wonderful.
asked
I
me.
think that is great that you started something like this. And one is that, of course, I think it's a great way to help people also, people in need. And I wish more and more people would think of creative ways like this to help the needies there.
Yeah, it's
So
at the end of the day, we all have that self-respect. Yeah, we all do. It's very easy to take out money and give it to somebody, but giving that money for the hard work that somebody is doing is
yeah,
different. They all deserve that kind of respect. They all deserve some kind of, if I'm capable of helping a little bit, I think I'm doing my bit.
yeah.
So, I think it's very important that people think on these similar lines. And people, trust me, they have a very wrong notion here, Vinay. They always feel people who have money can do this, but that's not true. You have to have a heart for this. You can do
That's very
small
true.
things. You have to have a heart for this. And I think it's a little fine tuning. If people actually start thinking about it, trust me, the world is going to be definitely a better space to stay in.
No, that's very true, and I 100% agree. I think there are also times, I don't know, maybe we think that, if we help this one person, it's not going to change much because there's a lot of suffering in this. So let's not worry about changing life of just one person or 10 or 100 or 1,000. Let's start at one point. So I think if everyone starts to think like that, and everyone changes life of at least one person, things would change. So that is what is more important. And I'm so glad that you started this. As a matter of fact, let's hope that other people also dive into this and then maybe join the bandwagon with you.
Oh, I
As
would
we
love
can
it.
grow, that'd be great. Yeah. And you rightly said that this is the right way of helping somebody. Rather than just giving or shelling out the money and giving it for no reason. Because yes, you're right. People have that thing when they are getting money for free rather than and then at the same time, I think it's also helping with their creativity. As you said, that these women, they are preparing papads and laddus and everything else. This is a great way of doing it.
Oh, you won't believe it. They're so excited. And when they get orders, they're so excited. And, putting that love and energy into all these things makes such a difference. And trust me, whenever we get the order, like suppose I get the order today, we will only start to process this the next day. We do not send any stuff which has already been made and kept. We do not keep. If they say 10 orders, we only make food for those 10 orders. We don't keep it. So everything is so fresh.
Yeah, yeah. No, this is a great way of, I think, doing it, and I think that way, uh, if everyone starts to think this way, I think things definitely would make a big, huge difference. And I hope that you are very, very successful in this, and all the best to you in your endeavor.
I hope so too. Now that we are connected, you will know my success story anyhow. But I'm going to tell you all the struggles that I went through.
Yes, yes, for sure, for
वो
sure.
कहते हैं ना, बूंद बूंद भरे भरे सरोवर.
Uh,
And this is so true to everything in our life. I really want you to give your pearls of wisdom, last few lines before we end the session.
uh, I think there is nothing like giving last line of wisdom or anything. I think the important thing is just love. To do what you do. And I think you should always ask yourself that why am I doing this? Is this something that I really, can stick to? Because I think that why is very, very important in life rather than, what. Because if you all know the whys, then we probably would succeed. And, as I said, that we all have dreams, but dreams without a deadline would always remain a dream, and only the dreams that have a deadline becomes your goals. So we all have dreams, but then break it down, put a deadline, make those your goals, and then I'm sure that we will succeed. Even if we don't succeed, we fail, that's fine. We are learning something. That was an experience. Just don't quit. Keep going.
I loved what you just said. Yes, we should definitely not quit, and we should have a purpose in life. Having a purpose in life is very important, a meaningful purpose. And of course, try to better your life and also try to better lives of the other people around you. And I think we are definitely going to be on a better spot.
And
So
let's hope so. Yeah.
thank you so much, Vinay, for joining me over this conversation. Loved it so much.
Thank you, Shefali. It was wonderful. Take care.